Hey guys, it's me, the FanFic Critic, with the third commentary. This one is on Confessions, which is the third short film of the whole episode 55 fiasco bits. Okay, you'll probably notice what's different about this short film. To begin with, there's no little opening sequence like the other ones, which I kind of wish I had done that, but I think because of time constraints, I didn't get to. This one jumps right into it, and pretty much the fanfic critic walks in to see Susan sitting on her bed holding her razor and acting kinda odd. I mean, how I have Susan act here is kinda creepy. And again, Susan bits were filmed first, and then fanfic critic bits were filmed as quote-unquote reaction shots. So Susan's talking about how beautiful that blade is, which kind of puts the critic in an unsettled mood and probably puts the viewers in a kind of unsettled mood, seeing Susan's acting a little odd. She's acting kind of like Sweetie Todd. You're kind of expecting her to start singing to it eventually. And just how she's like looking at it. And then there's this shot right here, which is probably a really creepy look, I have to admit. This is where Susan confronts the fanfic critic. And yeah, it's right here that it's revealed that Susan knows about what happened. The critic tries to act stupid, but Susan's not buying it, and she decides to explain to the fanfic critic how she figured it out. I have it be that she watches YouTube. Yeah, Susan, she watches YouTube, and not only does she watch YouTube, she watches fanfic critic episodes, which the critic is unaware of that until now. Although you think the critic would have figured it out, seeing Susan made the fanfic critic freakout list, and the only reason Susan would make that is if she watched the episodes of fanfic critic. But then again, you can kind of think that maybe the critic wasn't thinking. Might not have been thinking very clearly. But, yeah, I have it be that the critic and Susan are aware of YouTube and stuff. And originally, when I was going to do this whole confessions thing, I was going to have it be a deal that Susan not only saw episode 55, but she also saw the two short films, Consequences and Decisions. But then I thought, no, that'd be a little too weird. So I think I'll just have it be that only these episodes exist for them in their universe, but not the short films. Because the short films aren't... Well, they're connected. Obviously, these three short films are connected to episode 55. But it's not like it's episodes. But you kind of need them, though. I mean, if you were to watch all of Fanfic Critic without watching these little short films, or if you didn't watch Sequel Critic at all, you'd probably have no idea who the hell Susan is. You'd probably have no idea about Susan's death and stuff, seeing her death will be brought up in future episodes. Like, legit episodes, not short films. It will be brought up again in future episodes. I'm not going to spoil too much. You guys will probably figure it out when the episodes air. But, yeah. So anyway, Susan's going to give the fanfic critic a chance to explain exactly what happened. And so this is a pretty long monologue here with the fanfic critic. I have Susan sitting there watching. It's kind of unsettling because I think I had Susan act really... Well, I mean, she's acting calm and stuff, but just how, I don't know, it's just kind of creepy in a sense because you are assuming that she's not very happy. And I actually filmed this a couple times before I went with this final reaction with Susan. I think originally I had her be a little more angry and stuff and kind of more menacing acting, but then I thought that didn't really fit Susan's character. So I decided to just have it stick to Susan just calmly sitting there and acting kind of neutral, so you don't know exactly what's going through her head. I mean, with subtle things you can kind of tell, like when she first confronts the critic about how did it feel to slide this thing across my jugular. So you can kind of tell she was a little mad here, but right now she's just kind of listening and just kind of cleaning the blade as she's listening, so it kind of gives you an uneasy feeling. But I think it worked pretty good. And as for the critic, she's finally releasing all of this pent-up guilt she has by telling Susan about everything. which I think it kind of helps her in a sense, but at the same time, you know, she didn't want Susan to remember any of this, so she's probably also worried that Susan might go nuts again because she figured out that she was killed, but we'll see. So, yeah, right there the cloth got stuck in the razor, that's why you kind of see Susan yank at it. I probably should have not shown that bit, but oh well. I think it worked anyway, it's not like you could hear anything. So the critic continues to tell Susan what exactly happened. Like, she explains to her about the death. She explains that she brought her back with the Dragon Balls, and that Susan herself had a not so good reaction when she woke up. And then she explains, you know, finding her a week later and pretty much telling Susan at this point, you went crazy. So, yeah. Pretty much that's what all this whole bit right here is about. Again, this was all improv. I'm going to be saying that a lot lately. Improv, improv, improv. I'll have to do a special one of these days where I show some footage of me filming either Susan or FanFic Critic, whoever I do first. Because sometimes I do the FanFic Critic stuff first. It depends. All this though, I did the Susan bits first. But I'll have to show you guys how I do that process. So right here, Susan pretty much confirms the fact that she went nuts. And this part's a little inconsistent because the FanFic Critic never said that Susan hid in her closet. I mean, we know that she did because we saw the short films, and I obviously know because I play both the FanFic Critic and Susan, but the critic herself never actually says it, but it's a little fuck up. I mean, I don't think people really notice that anyway. I only notice it because I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to these things, so I notice every single little mistake, and it makes me want to rip all my hair out. That's why I do the fuck-up episodes. Most of the fuck-ups I actually find myself. But yeah. So, right here, the FanFic Critic is explaining why she brought Susan, or what she did to get Susan to forget. And yeah, it pretty much said she erased her memory of the incident, so she wouldn't remember. And Susan questions this, and the critic kind of freaks out here, thinking, well, isn't it obvious? And this is where Susan kind of realizes that, you know, that the critic did it, so then she wouldn't have to remember, so, you know, she wouldn't be a nut job anymore. And also, it wasn't, even if Susan hadn't gone crazy, it was still a traumatizing thing to happen. And the critic, I mean, you can clearly see that she still feels bad about what she did. I thought this bit right here with Susan kind of shifting position on the bed was a little creepy. Just the way she's watching her, it's like, ugh. Yeah, so you're not sure what's going to happen next, but this was interesting to film, I have to admit. I mean, on one hand, you have the critic who is still guilt-ridden over this whole situation, and then you have Susan who's acting kind of neutral. And then this bit here, the critic's acting a little afraid here, I have to admit. I actually had it more extended where the critic, like, after right here when Susan goes and looks at the razor, I originally was going to have it cut back to the critic where she kind of like closes her eyes. I should have kept that in, but, I mean, you kind of see the tail end of it there, but I should have kept that in because the critic is assuming that she was going to kill her, but she didn't. So Susan gives her a razor back and pretty much explains to her why she did so. This might have shocked some people that Susan would forgive the critic. It didn't really shock me, though, because, you know, with how Susan's character is, she's someone who is forgiving. And seeing she isn't nutty and doesn't remember what happens, she can kind of see it from, like, outside the box. Because she is aware that she got killed, but because she doesn't actually remember the events, it doesn't have that traumatizing event on her, or effect on her. In fact, I think she later admits that she thinks it's kind of amusing that she got killed. But, obviously, it wasn't really amusing, so this bit right here, Susan's like, oh, you wouldn't have deserved to die. And I just love the look that the critic gives her. Like, this, seriously? I just love that look. Just this, I don't even actually say anything in that shot. I just kind of give her a look, but I thought that worked out pretty good. So pretty much the last few minutes here is Susan pretty much saying that she's forgiven her, and then she even asks the critic, well, why did you post that episode on YouTube? And yeah, like, this I probably could have cut out. I didn't have to have this on here, but it was stupid. I wanted to have an explanation why the critic would still air the episode. But oh well, not much you can do. Again, this is where improv can be a bit of a issue with some little things, but overall I thought it worked out for the best. So, yeah, this whole ending bit, the critic is still kind of rambling about why she put it up on YouTube. Susan understands. You're pretty much saying that at the time when you added this was fun to film because I think I had the camera set up on a ladder or something. It's kind of funny. I'll have to show you guys what I have to go through when I film some of these episodes. I have a camera stand now, but when I filmed these, I clearly didn't. I had to use like a ladder, and with the newer camera, I still had to use like a ladder. Oh, I'll have to show you the behind the scenes for the Christmas special that I did with Megan and Susan. That one, oh god, that was fun. There's like a big long footage of me trying to figure out how to get the camera to stay standing, and it was chaotic. But once when you get the camera set up, I think the camera angles worked. I mean, it's the best you can do if you're filming with a laptop and with no real computer stand. And I thought I did pretty good with how the two talked to each other. Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny looking at the FanFic Critic and Susan because, you know, it's clearly the same person, me playing both of them, but I can tell they're different. Like, just how I have Susan be, like, she kind of has, like, the serious look on her face most of the time, and she doesn't really have much expression. The critic, on the other hand, is more animated with how she speaks. She's more like how I am in real life, a little, and Susan's more calm and collected. So it's kind of interesting watching it, because sometimes I forget that it's the same person. Sometimes I actually think it's two real people, which I think that's good that it has that effect. I'm not sure if you guys see it like that, but that's how I see it. And I thought this ending here was pretty good. Just, you know, Susan telling her, you know, don't beat yourself up over it, and you know, the critic right here is, you know, realizing that Susan could have easily killed her, and even if she had killed her, she couldn't have, like, she could have not forgiven her at all, and she did. So having the critic throw down the razor was supposed to symbolize that she was pissed with herself, like, and that she still feels guilty about what happened. So yeah, that's the end of the 3 short films. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentaries I did. And as I stated earlier, the issue of Susan's death will be brought up in future episodes. I'm not going to say when, and I'm not going to explain how it will be brought up, but it will be brought up again, just to give you all a heads up. Well, thank you all for watching the commentaries. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will be doing more commentaries in the future. Until then, ta-ta for now.